Have you noticed recently a large influx of weeds in your yard? Well, depending on what type of weeds you're seeing, I may have an answer of why you're seeing these weeds. Follow me along here and I'll tell you what I'm talking about. Okay, so the main types of weeds that I'm seeing right now in my area are nutsedge, kalinga, which kalinga is a type of sedge, and doveweed. This is doveweed right here. It grows this really thick, dark green color. Some people confuse it for crabgrass, but this is doveweed here. Sometimes it produces a flower on top, but it's just a really thick, dark green weed, and it's a low-lying weed, and it can really choke out your grass if you let it get out of control here. So that's doveweed. The other type of weed that I'm seeing a lot of is kalinga, which I'm going to show you what that is. Kalinga is grows in the sedge family. It's not nut sedge. It's a weed of its own called kalinga, but it produces this, what I just call a seed head here. It looks like a sticker. It looks like a little kookaburra type thing, but it's not. It's not a sticker. So you see here, I'm squeezing it and it's not sticking on me at all. So it looks like one. Some people confuse it for little sand spurs, but it's not. So that's kalinga. But these are the two main weeds that will only grow in overly saturated lawns. So if you've had a lot of rainfall, you're gonna see these two weeds, doveweed and kalinga. Also yellow nutsedge, purple nutsedge, any type of sedges. So if you've had a lot of rainfall and you have these weeds, that's why. There's no amount of pre-emergent that you can apply throughout the fall and winter to prevent this from happening. You can do the best pre-emergent treatments in the world, and you're still going to have these weeds if you have excessive rainfall throughout the spring and early summer. If you haven't had a lot of rainfall and you're still seeing these weeds, then you probably want to review your watering schedule. You might be watering daily. And watering daily is really excessive, and you're probably just causing your own weed problems. So you may want to back down to 3 times a week, maybe even twice a week. If you're getting a lot of rainfall, it's not even necessary to water, really. Just let Mother Nature water your lawn for you. But the point of this video is to really just point out the type of weeds that only grow in overly saturated lawns. So doveweed, nutsedge, it'll only grow in wet soil. Now, right now I'm using a product called Celsius that will help knock out these weeds. Celsius is labeled for any type of nutsedge and kalinga, and it suppresses doveweed. When I say suppresses it, it basically just means you're going to need a second treatment to knock out this doveweed here. But you see how low it is. So this is the grass height here. If you look at it from an angle, you usually can't even see the doveweed. But once you get right down on top of it, there it is. But it's really thick, and it'll choke out your grass if not treated. But if you use Celsius, you'll want to do a follow-up treatment within a week and a half or 2 weeks. However, Celsius should knock out this kalinga and any type of nutsedge just after 1 treatment. It'll yellow it up, and then as you mow it, you'll mow it away. The problem with nutsedge is that if you spray a section of it, so for example, if you come out here and spray this little section of kalinga here, Celsius will kill that. But the problem with nutsedge is that as long as you're getting more rainfall or over irrigation, you may have a new patch of kalinga or nutsedge pop up right next to it. So that's the problem. There is no pre-emergent that truly controls sedges. So as long as you're overwatering, or if you're getting a lot of rainfall, just try to set the expectations that you're going to see sedges. So this is the product that I'm using to spray doveweed with at the moment, and if you have kalinga or nutsedge in that same yard, Celsius will also take care of that as well. But this is Celsius Extra, and here are the active ingredients if you want to pause the video and look at those. But if you open it up, these are all the weeds that Celsius controls. As you see here, dove weed is suppressed. So you see the weed, dove weed, and it's got two little dots next to it here. And if you look over here, 2 dots means suppression. So when a weed is suppressed, it basically just means it's going to need a little more attention to kill it. So it's not going to kill it completely just with one treatment. So you're going to need to do a follow-up treatment on dove weed. As you see here, all of the other weeds that are controlled by Celsius, they don't have that little marking next to it. So dove weed is a very hard weed to kill. So you're going to need to follow up twice, and maybe even 3 times to knock that out. And the reason is it's such a low-lying weed is that the lawnmower blade doesn't mow it away. So you can spray it and yellow it up, and a lot of times after you mow a sick weed, it'll go ahead and kill it just by mowing it. But dove weed is just so low-lying that your mower blades just run right over it. And then as you see here, one of the other weeds that we saw in this yard that I just showed you was Kalinga. And you can see here, Celsius does kill Kalinga and other types of sedge, yellow nut sedge and purple nut sedge. So Celsius Extra works great on sedges and dove weed. So this is a product that I'm using right now. Again, this is just a reminder that if you are seeing these weeds, dove weed, any type of sedges, Kalinga, it's because of over moisture. So whether you're getting a lot of rainfall, that's what's causing it. If you're not getting a lot of rainfall, ask yourself, how often are you watering? If you're watering daily, that's really a bit too much. So back down your watering schedule to once or twice a week, and you should notice those weeds not growing as much. You'll still need to use a post-emergent product and get rid of the weeds that you do have. But Celsius is a great product for these.